Recording in progress.
Hi there, welcome to this video. I'm Dylan,
I'm Ryan.
and welcome to a little bonus episode of our series, Adaptation Station. Now, this is not a full-on episode in our traditional format where we read a book and its movie adaptation. This is just a fun little add-on to our recent episode where we read The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare, and then we watched the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. We're adding this on because I found a fun little article published by Insider, 35 details you might have missed in 10 Things I Hate About You. Okay, I only looked at the first few of these and then I stopped looking because I wanted us to look at these together and see if we missed these 35 details. That's a lot of details.
It is a lot of details, and see if we remember them from the fact that it's been now about 4 months or slightly more. Well, no, we watched the movie at that time over the holiday season.
It was around New Year's.
So to put a timeline on all that stuff, on when you if you're watching this probably right after you or may have watched that video, there was a 4-month gap there. And that's also why you may notice that I look different from that time.
Oh, true. Good point.
I mean, I could have been the next day, and I could have cut my hair and shaved my face, but
yeah,
it wasn't. It's 4 months later.
You'll also notice in that video when I was editing it, I noticed I mentioned that I watched it in 2021. I say that.
Oh, you did?
So that's why, viewer. That's why I say that. Because there's a delay.
Well, and you have a slight advantage over me in the sense that you just have started editing that video.
So it's fresh in my mind.
It's a little more fresh in your mind. It's not as fresh in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I remember one from the video from that episode. You mentioned the detail that Patrick's last name is Verona. And Taming of the Shrew takes place in Verona, Italy. We'll see if that's on this list here.
It better be on this list, though. That's an easy one if it's not on this list. Well, although this is details you might have missed, so
it might not even be Shakespeare related, just details.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Like in the background here, you can see this guy, who...
Yeah, I think some of them are just background details.
Oh.
We'll see. But yeah, we watched this a while ago, and this just recently came out, March 31st, 2022, recently
updated.
For us filming.
Updated, right? I think they do that on a lot of blogs. They like update some little thing to keep the SEO current so that it's always up in search engines, right?
Okay.
I've noticed that based on the comments that I see sometimes on some kind of article. I scroll down and then like the comments are from 2016, but the article says updated 2022. Then oh, this is an old article. Actually, there was one recently where I don't remember what it was. I was probably looking up microphones, and it was talking about, the article was like updated 2022, and then I scrolled down, the last comment was 2013, and I was like, oh my gosh. That's a big example of that. Anyway.
Yeah, this article was probably published in 2002. Anyway, let's get into it. 35 details we might have missed in 10 Things I Hate About You. Shout out Gabbi Shaw from Insider. Okay. To set the scene, keep in mind that 10 Things I Hate About You is based on William Shakespeare's comedy, The Taming of the Shrew. We knew that one. We didn't miss that. Okay. And this mentions there's other things based on Taming of the Shrew. Bridgerton season 2, apparently. Okay. Here's number 1, I think. No, this isn't number 1 yet. Many of the main characters' names in the film are based on characters of the play. Okay, obvious. Lucentio gets switched. We mentioned that in the episode. Oh, maybe Cameron was supposed to be close to Cambio because that was his name when he was a Latin tutor.
I kind of like didn't even make that. I didn't make that connection because I was like, well, Cameron doesn't sound like anything, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Some of the characters' last names are nods to places in the Shakespeare canon. Bianca and Kat's last name is Stratford, as in Stratford upon Avon, the hometown of Shakespeare.
I didn't have that fact in my head to even make that that
Yeah,
connection.
that's but then the next one it mentions is the one you did notice. Patrick's last name Verona is a nod to the Italian city where Petruchio comes from in the play. Fair Verona is also famously where Shakespeare lays his scene in Romeo and Juliet. Okay, that's just a coincidence. Name of the school, Padua High School in Seattle, is a reference to Padua, Italy, where the play takes place. Okay, I don't know if we mentioned that, but
I don't remember noticing that, but it seems like I guess I must not have.
yeah, I don't know. Do they say it at all, or is it just shown?
I don't recall them saying it at all, but it's probably shown a good amount of times. Um,
Yeah, they probably say it at least once, like when you know, go a new student in the principal office. Oh, welcome to Padua High School. I don't know, maybe not. Okay, obvious one. The Shakespeare nods continue throughout. Kat's best friend Mandela has a huge crush on the playwright. We knew that, and David
mhm.
Krumholtz dresses up as Shakespeare at the end there. Okay, I didn't notice this one. The theme of Padua's prom is blasting into 2000, complete with a poster turning the school into a rocket.
So I think the blasting into 2000 seems familiar, but I definitely didn't notice that the poster was the school turning into a rocket.
Mm. And then it
That
says
that's
Padua prom, so there's
Yeah, so
Padua.
there's where we missed that. I mean, certainly read it. That right there looks like right before she rips it down off the,
Oh
rips
yeah,
it off the wall, and then whoever would just put it up there is like, hey, or whatever.
yeah. And her friend like wants to go, and she's like, "No, we're protesting." Uh, yeah. And one of the many prom posters that Katz rips down. So yeah, here's one that's not a Shakespeare reference, just a detail you might have missed. Next one, guidance counselor Miss Perky's office is covered in posters for a romance novel writers conference in the Pacific Northwest. That's very
Yeah,
specific.
I certainly didn't notice that.
Me neither. I don't even remember her name being Miss Perky.
That seems
Oh,
familiar. It's on her
actually,
desk, right?
I remember the teacher, the English teacher. Go
Yeah,
Perkies, Perkies now.
yeah.
Yeah. I also thought she was the principal. Wasn't she the principal? She's the guidance counselor. Oh,
I didn't. I don't. I didn't. Hmm. I can't recall now what I thought. Uh,
maybe she's both. It's a
I.
you mentioned this in the episode, I remember.
Mhm.
Cameron directly quotes the Taming of the Shrew after seeing Bianca for the first time. I burn, I pine, I perish. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty blatant. Even though I watched this before I read it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So even though I did it in that order, like when he said that I was like, what?
you can
Like it's
tell
so out of
that's
place. And then
yeah.
so when I read it later and I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Hmm.
Because they don't do any more of that in the movie. They don't, you know,
Yeah,
talk like that. And so it seemed out of place.
yeah. But it works too, I think. Next up is in Mr. Morgan's classroom. There's an entire bulletin board display about England, Shakespeare's homeland. I mean, okay.
I mean, it's so hard to see that stuff in the. Oh, it does just say England. It's just like
Yeah,
a
like
yeah.
barely anything. I mean, shout out England and Shakespeare. But yeah, even in this, like what looks like a zoomed in picture with an arrow, it's hard to
Hmm.
read that. Who would see that when you're watching it? Kat describes herself as tempestuous. Of course, one of Shakespeare's most famous works is The Tempest. I feel like that's probably a coincidence, but
It might not be
yeah, that could be a deliberate.
if they made their last name Stratford.
Oh yeah,
Then I think that could be on purpose.
mm. Tempestuous. One of the cliques that Michael calls out is the Cowboys, and they take their role seriously. They're even eating canned beans in the background of one scene.
I don't think I noticed that. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, I liked all the
that's
cliques in
pretty funny.
costumes. Yeah, eating beans out of a can. After Kat almost runs him over, Michael calls her the shrew. Yeah, that one was obvious.
Yeah.
Later on in the scene, Michael also uses the word Rampalion, which is a burn worthy of Shakespeare. He uses the word in Henry IV, Part 2. I don't remember that. Rampalion, defined as a good-for-nothing scoundrel.
Do you notice there that they spelled that word in the fact and down below in the description with 2 L's, but the subtitles have it with 1 L.
I have a
Something.
feeling the subtitle might be wrong
Yeah.
because sometimes the subtitles are auto-generated. I don't know. Next up, the other reference to the title of the play comes from Patrick when he asks if Michael and Cameron will help him tame Cat. So you two are going to help me tame the wild beast. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember thinking like why they changed it to the wild beast. Like he could have said tame the shrew, but I guess that would feel a little too obvious.
Much. They already put one
Put the
shrew
shrew somewhere
reference in
else.
there.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they probably thought that it's not something that Patrick would say. It's not a word that he would.
Yeah, not in his character.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Michael character would more likely say that, probably. Tame the wild beast. Next up, Kat asks Mr. Morgan why they can't read any female authors like Sylvia Plath. Later on, she takes matters in her own hands and reads Plath's novel, The Bell Jar at Home. I noticed that.
That was pretty prominent with the shot there
Yeah,
that they're
it,
showing. Like it's
starts
pretty
on her reading.
featured. Yeah.
Yep, so that's obvious. What else do we have? One of the low-key antagonists of the film is Bogey Lowenstein. He kicks Michael out of the future MBAs and even nails a teacher in the head with a golf ball.
I think
not
it's not an antagonist.
Just comic relief.
Yeah. So I don't even know why this is a fact. Like that, like.
Yeah, this isn't a detail you would miss.
Yeah, like maybe the thing is like because I think you might have missed it until we talked about it that his name is Bogey Lowenstein.
Yeah,
that's a thing detail you might have missed this because it's like just a funny name, and I don't know if they were trying to reference the golf situation by calling him Bogey.
Bogey, yeah, probably. Yeah, that is a detail I missed on the first watch because I remember you pointing it out. Like, you're talking about how it's a funny character, and you were like, "Did you notice his name is Bogey Lowenstein?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Bogey's full name is said plenty of times, Joey still mistakes his last name for Lowenbrow instead of Lowenstein.
I didn't notice that.
Bogey Lowenbrow's thing on Friday night. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Even though Patrick claims that everyone is afraid of him, he does have one friend who is by his side in biology shop, gym, and like we spotted earlier, English class. Yeah, I vaguely remember that guy being in the background.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, when
playing
with the fire.
Yeah, that was in the biology. That's what I remember.
I remember him being on the bench when they were watching soccer or whatever. They were outside. Oh, and although his name is never said out loud, according to the credits, he's called Scurvy. It's funny that they named him, but they don't put that in there. Cameron and Bianca hang out at this strange statue under a bridge during one scene. It's a real statue you can visit called the Fremont Troll. I remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of random. It's in Seattle, apparently, in real life. Okay.
Well, and I think that's where it's based. This is based, right? This is based in somewhere.
Yeah, it said Padua High School is in Seattle, so they must have actually filmed in Seattle too. All the Space Needle shots in the background were real, I guess. When Cameron and Bianca go into Kat's room to snoop, there are plenty of nuggets to glean from her decor. Just a few of the posters visible. Posters for Edna Swap, best known for the original version of Torn, like Natalie Imbruglia.
I don't know. Now I have to look that up.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a cover. An adaptation, if you will. Rock Crown by Seven Mary 3, Whirligig by the Lovemongers, and For Mr. Funny Face by Sprung Monkey. Geez, these are some obscure 90s music posters. Sprung Monkey's song "Get 'Em Out of Here" can be heard in the film. Okay, definitely didn't notice that. The biker bar that Patrick hangs out at, the Buckaroo Tavern, was a Fremont landmark. It closed in 2010 after 72 years of serving the neighborhood. Okay.
Wow, 72 years is a long time.
Yeah. So another real Fremont near Seattle thing. Yeah, we wouldn't have known that, but I didn't even notice that it was called the Buckaroo Tavern when watching it.
No, I mean you can see in that picture it only is like on the windows there, but you
Oh
can
yeah,
barely see it. Oh, and I guess that neon sign probably says that, huh? It's
oh
hard
yeah,
to read that. Yeah, it
Buckaroo
does.
Tavern. The band that Cat and Mandela go to see at the Club Skunk is actually Letters to Cleo. That's obvious.
Well, yeah, because then they play on top of the roof at the end credits too,
Yeah.
and
Um,
and at the
and at their prom,
prom.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're in it like 3 big times. I guess people could have thought like, oh, that's not the real Letters to Cleo, I bet. It's probably actors.
Mm.
Oh, this is our favorite spot. Right before Bogey's house gets totally trashed, he assumes the doorbell is ringing because Nigel has arrived with the brie. He's not wrong. So Nigel does show up with the brie.
Yeah, I think I did notice that. I feel like I might have pointed that out when we watched it together a second
Oh
time.
yeah, that
Like
sounds
like,
familiar.
oh look, he's got the, you know,
With the blade and
he's
brie.
got the brie.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely that's one of my favorite lines that I remember
Yeah.
from the movie. That must be Nigel with the brie when they're all sitting around quietly before everyone
Yeah.
storms. Good stuff. Two guys appear to be doing the Night at the Roxbury head movement in matching hats at Bogey's party.
I did notice that.
You notice that? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I guess that makes sense. I didn't really think about it in terms of the time that it was where
Oh yeah, it says
the film was released the previous year.
yeah, so that's like a recent reference. The song Cruel to Be Kind plays throughout the film. It's a reference to a different Shakespeare play, Hamlet.
Hmm.
Cruel to Be Kind first plays on the radio while Patrick drives Kat home from the party. Letters to Cleo then performs it at a prom. The actual Hamlet quote is, "I must be cruel only to be kind."
I feel like that's just a phrase
Well,
that
it must
people say
originate from Shakespeare.
originated from Hamlet.
So you're saying Letters to Cleo probably didn't know that that was a Hamlet
It's
reference.
I'm just saying it's a possibility that they didn't know
Mhm.
it was a reference to Hamlet.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. I remember the song being in it. It's a catchy one. Cruel to be kind, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, we know this, right? Mr. Morgan raps part of Shakespeare's Sonnet 141, which is seemingly relevant for all of our main characters. Seemingly relevant. The sonnet is all about loving someone for who they are inside, not for their beauty or how they try to make themselves appear to other people. Kat and Patrick learn not to judge each other by their steely exteriors. Cameron learns to love Bianca because of her personality, not her looks. And Bianca chooses Cameron, who's a bit dorky, over the handsome yet horrible Joey. Yeah, we identified all those themes in it when we talked about it. I guess we didn't make the direct connection to the sonnet
Yeah, we
there.
didn't
But
make any connection to the sonnet, but yeah, we definitely identified all that stuff.
yeah. And we talked about, I don't know if they'll mention it in here, the fact that he's a rapper. That better be a detail in here. I don't know if that's a detail to notice,
Well, yeah, it's not something you could notice. Well,
but
it
you
is. I
also,
mean, the other stuff that they've mentioned on here, like that's the band Letters to Cleo. Like, why is that any different, right?
yeah, or that Cruel to Be Kind apparently comes from Hamlet. Like that's
Yeah,
outside knowledge.
that's
So
true. Yeah.
they better give Daryl Chill Mitchell a shout out in this article. Let's see. A poster that hangs in Mr. Morgan's classroom is a quote by Gamaliel Bailey, a famous journalist and abolitionist. The first and worst of all frauds is to cheat oneself. Okay, Bailey was the editor of the National Era, an anti-slavery newspaper. Who, I mean, who would have seen this poster? And if they did, I don't know
It
who
is a
would know
little
this.
detail, though, that like they chose to put that there, right?
That's true.
When making
And
these sets.
Yeah, no, this totally fits the article. Like, that's very likely that we would have missed that detail. So yeah, good one to include there. Next one, Mr. Chapin takes a beating during this film. He gets nailed in the head by a golf ball and then shot in the butt with an arrow by Bianca.
I didn't know that he was the same guy who got hit with a golf ball. I guess I never paid attention to that.
Oh yeah, the golf ball one's pretty quick because it cuts
Yeah.
to him getting hit pretty quick, I think. The arrow one's pretty funny, and then that's happening in the background when they're talking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's the soccer coach and the detention supervisor.
Mhm. Yeah, because in detention he like goes to like sit on the edge of the desk and goes like,
Oh yeah, he's like, ooh, because it's after he shot in the butt. Yeah, they have a lot of good minor characters in the background.
Mhm.
Everybody's got something going on. Next up, one of the books that Patrick walks by in the bookstore is 10 Stupid Things Men Do to Mess Up Their Lives, written in the same style and font as the movie title. Kat walks by the female version a few seconds later, 10 Stupid Things Women Do to Mess Up Their Lives. And they're both real books written by radio host Laura Schlesinger. Definitely didn't notice that.
No, yeah, but that's interesting that I must maybe, I mean, that it's called 10 Things I Hate About You is, and the movie font is the same as those books.
They must have got it from the books, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. More adaptation inspiration. Next up, when trying to encourage Patrick, Michael quotes another Shakespeare sonnet, Sonnet 56, by saying, "Sweet love, renew thy force."
So that's one I didn't notice. That's a I burn, I pine, I perish. I said, that, I didn't notice it happening other times. There's another one right there.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying that either. That didn't stick out to me.
I think they're just trying to convince him to keep going, to try to ask her out or whatever, right?
Yeah, it must be.
Something like that.
Sweet love, renew thy force. The detention sign-in list is filled with nods to the film's crew. Okay, so some names of people behind the scenes, I guess. Max Chernov, whose father, Jeffrey, produced the film. Assistant Chuck Rapp, production assistant. Hope Garrison Ross Fanger. And of course, Patrick's name is on there too, because Patrick would be in detention. Okay. Towards the end of the film, it's shown that Cameron has continued using the French book that Patrick drilled a hole through. Yeah, I think we talked about this.
I noticed that one, yeah, because that's right after you notice it when he starts flipping through right after Bianca says something like a whole sentence to him in French that's like, "Why haven't you asked me out yet?" or whatever, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What? What is?
That's not in the
try
script.
to look,
what chapter are you on?
Yeah.
You can see the holes. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Another real band is shown at the prom, Save Ferris, which in turn is named after the 80s classic teen film Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I guess I didn't know that band was named after.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
It's like that was more of a ska band, right? Save Ferris.
I think so, yeah.
Remember them? During the end credits, as the camera zooms out from Patrick and Kat, you can spot two kids getting into a fight in the parking lot. Right here. I definitely didn't notice that.
No, I mean that's quite a detail. I feel like it's like, okay.
In the crowd, yeah. As it's zooming out from them on the car and about to go to Letters to Cleo on the roof.
I guess that's something like that they decided to put that detail in there instead of just having kids walk around and stand around and talk. They had some kids get in a fight.
Yeah.
It's more of a detail than, did you notice as at the end credits, there's one kid over by the white car that's wearing a yellow shirt.
Yeah.
We'll
be like, only half of these students have backpacks on. Whatever. That might be the last one. Oh, no. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's name is wrong in the credits. What did they do, Joseph?
They hyphenated Joseph Gordon instead of Gordon-Levitt.
The hyphen is mistakenly between Joseph and Gordon, not Gordon and Levitt.
Huh.
So it's not spelled wrong. They just put Cameron James, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Interesting.
Yeah, if his name was Joseph Gordon, they could call him JG.
JG. Yeah.
What was that? Is that J.G. Wentworth? It's my money and I need it
That
now.
is that one, yeah. It's my money and I need it now. J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now. 877 cash now. Yeah. Here's your Daryl Chill Mitchell shout out in the credits.
Oh, right there, yeah.
That made it on here. And Larry Miller. I don't think we mentioned Larry Miller in our episode.
Oh yeah, as the dad.
He
I
deserves
saw
it.
Larry Miller live. He opened for Jerry Seinfeld. Did I mention that in the
You didn't mention that in the
episode?
episode. You told me that, but
Yeah,
now we have it on record because that's pretty cool.
it is. I thought he was pretty good. It was a good warm up. It was short, but
I mean, he's funny in this, so
yeah,
that's got to be cool. Okay, that's got to be the last one because it's about the credits.
Yeah, that's it. We're at all that. So they didn't mention Daryl Chill Mitchell.
They didn't even mention that he's a real rapper, even though they mentioned that the sonnet he raps connects to the themes of the movie.
Yeah, you should contact them, write into them.
You need to update again.
And make it 36.
Yeah, there's no.
That's their update. They just find another one every year. I think they said at the beginning of this something about they wrote this article like 23rd anniversary or something of the movie. I mean, there's an anniversary every year, but maybe that's how they update it. Like
they just add one. Yeah.
Yeah, where was that? Was there anything before this?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah. Scroll down. We are right here.
Oh.
Celebrating its 23rd anniversary on March 31st. So
it was that.
That's when this was updated. So
yeah.
So they just every year they just change that number 24, 25, right? That's got to be what they update.
Probably. Yeah, I'll write into
and say next year.
Gabbi Shaw. Here's one for next year.
One for the 24th anniversary.
Yeah. Dang. They didn't even mention that he got a Kids' Choice Award for this performance?
Something, maybe, or nominated or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
All right, there's our bonus episode for 10 Things I Hate About You, 35 details you might have missed. We missed a lot of those. I wasn't keeping count, but we missed a good amount of those. Let us know in the comments if you noticed those details in the movie. How many of those did you miss?
Or any other details that weren't on their list.
Yeah, what details did you see that Gabbi Shaw forgot to include that she can put on next year? Yeah, we still didn't come up with an outro thing. But hey, thanks for watching this bonus episode. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications every time we come out with a new video. We appreciate the support. We'll be coming out with more fun episodes of Adaptation Station soon. And we'll see you next time. Stay tuned.